And sure enough, there it was. It was a fire that just kept on going and going and going.
Senior firefighter Royd Kennedy was among the first rescue workers on the scene.
At this stage, you couldn't see the truck, you couldn't see a car. All there was a huge ball of fire. It was mind-blowing, it was just awesome.
With the help of the tanker's driver, David had found Gaylene and managed to pull her from the fiercely burning car.
She's just screaming her head off and she was crying. I'll never ever want to live through that again. Never ever.
We could only get within approximately 30 feet of the tanker because of the intensity of the heat.
There was a river of fuel on fire running into the shopping centre. While I was looking around, I found a woman in the car park lying there, very badly burned. I knew I had to get water on those burns.
All she said was, my baby's in the car. I assumed that the baby was dead. There was an ambulance on the way. I grabbed Royd and said, come on. And we started towards the back of the tanker. The heat was becoming even greater.
The swirling smoke was down to ground level, hiding everything. And for a split second, I just looked at the fire. And instantly, I saw it, just for a second, a hand in the smoke. There was someone there, right under the tanker.
Royd took off. He was heading straight into the fire.
And under the truck, there's this child crushed by a big wheel. I could feel her feet protruding from under the tyre where her limbs had been broken and doubled back. She was really scared. Mind you, so was I. But I let her know that I wasn't going to leave her, no matter what.
At that point, I'd lost sight of him. I thought I'd lost him. Next minute, Royd yelled out, "Cover me, Graham," which was the biggest relief I'd ever heard. He was still alive.
All of a sudden, fire just flashed through. I thought it was all over. I really did. And water suddenly beat the flames off us.
To give some protection to where Royd was in the wreckage, we had to move guys into a position where they were exposed to danger.
Divisional Officer Ray Warby was in charge at the scene.
Shirley was lucky because she was in the only part of that wreckage where any person could survive. It was being sheltered by the chassis and the trailer unit.
Among the more than 100 rescue workers who converged on the accident site was paramedic Grant Pennycook.
The big question was, how were we going to get her out?
The decision was to raise the wheel assembly with the airbags.
How long it was going to take was anyone's guess. Whether we would get her out alive was once again anyone's guess.
water itself was just so freezing, it's unbelievable. They had tried to bring in a sheet to give us some protection. I was continually talking to her, keeping her going.
You ever been horse riding? When you get out of here, we're going to go horse riding.
It's hard to imagine the injuries she was suffering from, and yet she was not crying. She was a battler, and it's a great thing to draw your own reserves of strength from when you've got someone like that next to you, who's only 12 years old.
The firefighters were roasting, but they didn't back off, they just stood their ground. I was so astounded at the tenacity of my men.
Keep it talking, Roy. Keep it talking. Come on, Shirley. Come on.
Time was ticking by.
She suddenly started to fade away, and she looked at me with big brown eyes, and she looked at me and said, "If I don't make it, tell my mother I love her." She just lay her head back and started to go unconscious.
Give me a resuscitator.
A resuscitator was passed in under the truck, and I started keeping her alive.
Shirley had been trapped under the burning truck for more than 40 minutes in the intense heat and fumes.
Okay, this is to me. Quick as you can. There she goes, Wally.
The vehicle lifted slightly, 3 or 4 inches, but not enough to pull her out because she was crushed right down onto the road.
But we were then able to get a further lift by using a hydraulic ram.
I couldn't get out of there quick enough. She was away, which was an immense relief.
It's for me, sir. Hold on. Okay. Where's my EME bag?
But as soon as she was on that stretcher, she knew too that she was safe, finally, and she just drifted away.
After the rescue was completed, the fire just went out, just like that, poof. And I felt as if the devil had backed off now that Shirley had been removed from the fire.
Right, honestly, I just haven't got time. I'm so cold and I'm dizzy and I just want to lay down.
Roy did what I hope any firefighter would have done. But I wouldn't ask any firefighter to do it. He heard a cry for help and he responded at extreme danger to himself.
He probably was a fool for climbing under there. I think we're all fools. But you don't think of those things when something like that happens, you know? I got home that night and I just cried.